That was appropriate song, the last song we just sang, for what I'm going to be talking about and alluding to and all. Light. Turn over to Luke 11 in verses 33 through 36. And it says, "No man, when he hath lighted a candle, put it in a secret place, neither under a bushel, but on a candlestick, that they which come in may see the light. The light of the body is in the eye. Therefore, when thine eye is single, the whole body also is full of light. And when thine eye is evil, thy body also is full of the darkness. Take heed, therefore, that the light which is in thee be not darkness. If thy whole body, therefore, be full of light, having no part dark, the whole shall be full of light, as when the bright shining of a candle doth give light." So, we all know this is very familiar to us. We talk about it quite often, actually. I think it gets touched on, and talk about our light shining and things like that, and how he's telling us here, these are the words of Christ, that we should be having this single type of light in us, and only that, because when we have that, we're all the light. We're all good. But when we have just that little bit of dark light in us, or darkness, then we are totally dark and evil and separated from Christ at that point. But it's it's an interesting thing. He says you don't light a candle and put it in a secret place, and you don't put a basket over it either. One of the other verses that this is said in a couple of Gospels says you don't light a candle and put it under your bed. Nobody sees the light. It doesn't help. It's no good. They have to see your light for something good to happen. They have to see your light and that you are a Christian. And your light has to say, I follow God. I follow Christ. And that's what this light needs to be beaming out. And it takes me to Hebrews in verse 10, or chapter 10, where it talks about us being illuminated. And it says here in 10 verses 31 through 37, "It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God." You can stop right there and do probably 3 whole sermons on just that one verse. A fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God. It almost sounds like it's a bad thing to fall into the hands of the living God. And to one point, maybe it could be. But to the other side, when you fall into his hands, you're safe. There's nothing wrong at all. If you fall into his hands and you have that dark light in you, you're going to have problems. You're going to have issues. But if you fall into his hands with that light, that bright light, that loving light, then you're going to be in a good spot. And he tells us in 32, "But call to remembrance the former days, in which, after ye were illuminated, ye endured a great fight of afflictions." Now there's where we're illuminated. He says when we understood and we took control or ownership of his ways and his thoughts and committed ourselves to live as he wants us to live, we became illuminated. We were a light. We were that candle. We are that candle. And then I like these verses in here because it tells you the walk of a Christian, the walk of changing yourself to be a God-fearing Christian. You endured great fight of afflictions. When I first changed and started doing this, and I don't know if everybody here experienced this, but I did. I was scolded by my mother. I was joked by friends. I was ignored, and still am, by other family members. And, they thought I was ludicrous. I was just ridiculous doing this stuff, And I was reminded many, many times I'm not a Jew, which I don't claim to be. But we all went through this. And I'll just read on for a minute here. Read 33 and 4 some. Partly whilst we were made a gazing stock, both by reproaches and afflictions, and partly while ye became companions of them that were so used. I have friends, I have family that were so done just as me. And I endured this, got through it, and I found family and friends that were like-minded, that gave me a place to go and a place to be and people to talk to that weren't accusing me or criticizing or joking or hassling me because I decided to keep God's Sabbath and his food laws, simply put. In 34 he says, "For ye had compassion of me and my bonds, and took joyfully the spoiling of your goods, knowing in yourselves that ye have in heaven a better and enduring substance." That's why we did it. We understood the compassion in Jesus Christ's bonds and his suffering on that cross. That time's coming soon. I was looking at it. It's just a little over 50 days, I believe it was. Passover will be here. It's almost here. I believe it was March 26th, right? It's a Friday night. We'll be doing foot washing and the bread and the wine. And this is so compact, but it tells the story. It tells the whole story. Because we all learned and understood that there is something better. There's something more than just getting all the fun and toys and happiness and money in this world. That doesn't do you any good. But Jesus Christ does you all good. Cast not away, therefore, your confidence, which has great recompense of reward. Again, he's just saying, hey, hang on to what you found. Hang on to me. Because I have a great reward for you one day. And you're going to be loving it. You're going to find it better than all the toys and money and stuff in the world. And then he says in 36, "For ye have need of patience, that after ye have done the will of God, ye might receive the promise." And we are patiently doing the will of God as best we can, but we screw it up quite often. In verse 37, he gives us that really big promise. "For yet a little while, and he that shall come will come, and will not tarry." We have to have that patience and endurance of doing the things that he wants us to do because he's coming. He's coming for us. He's coming for the others like us. Those are the people he's wanting right now. Those are the people he's dealing with right now. The rest get dealt with later. And we went through all this in the beginning. We became a bright candle. And we talked. And we told people about it. And we spoke about it. And we tried to sell it like we were Amway distributors. We were selling it. At what point did we become the basket? That's the question. When did we become a basket? Covering the light, keeping it in, not letting it shine, not saying, not selling. And saying the word selling of Jesus Christ is not cheapening it or him. When did we become a basket? We're all a bunch of basket cases. And when this hit me, it really hit me. I just said, man, we are. We're trying some stuff, get something out, but we need to work harder. We need to try harder. And we need to try on a personal note more so. It can't just be up to Kane, who runs the cameras for us and keeps us going. It can't be up to just those that get up here and speak. Y'all are the ones that know more people than, or know people that I don't know, and I know people y'all don't know. We need to get out from underneath our basket, let our light shine, and talk. Because the buzz feed right now, if you pay attention to anything, and you don't have to do a lot of it, you don't have to stay on the internet, on Facebook or social media a lot, you'll find it. The buzz feed is, rapture's coming. It's coming any day now. These people don't understand Scripture. We are the ones that understand it. We are to explain it. We are to show them. We are to share it with them. They are waiting for their God to take them out of the misery of this world when it starts getting worse, and it will. And He's not going to do it because there is no such thing as a rapture. And there we are, comfy and cozy, in our basket, underneath of it, sheltered. We know, but we say nothing. We say nothing. We stay in our little basket and let them go, rapture's coming. And I can't count how many times and trust me, I'm not on Facebook a whole lot anymore at all. I'm tired of it, number one. And plus, with this crazy job I work, I'm still trying to figure out how I got 8 hours of this stuff to go. I'm worn out by the end of the day from talking. And here I am talking again. Usually by the end of the day, I answer so many phone calls, I'm a little hoarse at the end of the day. And I don't mean a pony, I mean horse. But seriously, they're all saying it. They're all saying it, and they're all saying the wrong thing. And when it doesn't happen for them, they're going to turn on God and say, you left me here. You didn't keep your word. They may even say, I despise you. And there we are in our basket, not saying a word. You know, there isn't a rapture coming, but there is a resurrection coming. You will not be safe from the tribulation. You're going to have to go through it. And here, let me show you. You can do it all in Matthew 24. You don't even have to go bouncing around the Bible. You don't have to know a lot of verses. You don't have to know everything to get into that. Matthew 24 explains it all, and I can walk you through it. I got a video that Cord put out there that explains it for you. Just in 6 or 7 minutes, talking Matthew 24, and explain to the people that they are living through the tribulation. But that's neither here nor there. As long as you're in your basket, you don't have to worry about anything, I guess, or maybe you do. Because you're not letting your light shine, and He says, let our light shine. So we have to get out of our baskets. Hebrews 22 in chapter 10 there, it goes, let us draw near with a true heart in full assurance of faith. That's how you talk to people. You draw nearer to Christ, and in a full assurance of faith, you tell them. You talk. You come out from underneath your basket for a little while, at least once in a while, and talk to them. Having your hearts sprinkled from an evil conscience and bodies washed with pure water. Let us hold fast the profession of our faith without wavering, for He is faithful that promised. And let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works. Let's take care of one another. Let's do these things together. Let's come in and tell stories about who we talked to the past week. And they didn't get it. That'll be our second line after I talked to a guy about the rapture or about Christ the other day. He didn't get it. That might be our thing that we say over and over. But at least we tried. At least something was said to somebody. A seed was planted. Something. Not forsaking the 25. Not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, as the manner is of some, but exhorting one another, and so much more as we see the day approaching. Now, we see a day approaching. We do see that. Life has changed in this world, in this country. Now we are not supposed to use words like you're a rat, because that's offensive to rats. We're not supposed to say you're a pig. Yeah, I guess you have to say you're a glutton, because it's offensive to pigs. I don't know if anybody else saw these lists that came out this week from PETA, talking about how you can't use animals to describe people because you're offending the animals. The animals, the very animals that they care more about and want to protect, yet they let children die every day in abortion. This is a messed up world. And God doesn't like that, and we know that. So we know it's coming. We don't know when, but it ain't a rapture. It's still more to change. It's going to get worse. And the only way you're going to get through it is with Jesus. The only way you're going to get through it is to have faith and endure and not cower when you see it getting worse. But the other people don't know. There are still some people out there to be saved. There has to be. So get out from under your basket and talk to the world. When did we become baskets instead of the candle? Shortly after all the affliction quit, we calmed down, we were left alone, and we said, I like this better. Nobody's messing with me, so if I just don't say nothing or look stupid to them, they'll leave me alone. And that's a cop-out on God. That's what you're doing. We got to quit being the basket. I'll close this up by saying Revelations 22:5. And there shall be no night there, and they need no candle, neither light of the sun, for the Lord God giveth them light, and they shall reign forever and ever. We will be given the light from God. We will not need the sun. We will have this if we can quit being the basket here. It's your choice. You decide, are you going to be the basket or are you going to be the candle?